Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jason, and today we've got a Division C East match coming up for you. Protectors of Aiur versus ReGen Rebel. And once again, I've got my co-casting expert with me today, Rabid Penguin. Thanks for joining me, Rabid, on this lovely Sunday evening.
Hey, happy to be here.
All right, well, let's take a quick look at the map picks and map bans before we get this started. I'm going to let them know that we are ready to go whenever they are, but we did have Protectors of Aiur winning the toss and selecting first pick. ReGen Rebel then banning out Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen. Protectors of Aiur banning out Braxis Holdout and Garden of Terror. And Rebel's going to go ahead and take us to my favorite map, Battlefield of Eternity, for game number 1.
Fun times, more skirmish-heavy, team-fighty map.
Yeah, the idea of this map is
very easily end before level 20.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the whole premise of this map is to spend an eternity fighting in the middle, while the lanes on the outside just do whatever they're going to do.
The OG ARAM.
Yeah. There's only one lane on this map that matters, and there's no minions in it. It's the one in the mid.
That's true.
Remember that old strategy where people would rush the mid so they could snipe the well?
Yep, probably the one map where that actually consistently happened.
I wonder, actually, now that the wells are controlled by the keep, how do you get the mid well?
Off the top of my head, I actually don't know. I would assume it's connected maybe to that tower.
Yeah, maybe to the center tower.
I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah.
I can look that up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some investigating after this. Unless anybody in the chat knows.
Yeah, chat, come on.
It's your time, chat.
9 people here.
I believe in you. Yeah, I took a little bit of a break from casting this week, so it's nice to see you guys all again. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm excited to get back to it. Been a long couple of weeks, but not in a bad way, just busy. And looking forward to getting back into some good NGS action. And it looks like both of these teams are ready to go. So it looks like we are about to head in for game number 1. Maybe. A really fun group in here. The pregame chat for the coin flip was pretty fun. And here we go, game number 1.
Even.
Oh, if you get both keeps, you get the well, says Silver Arrow 67. That makes sense.
Nice.
Makes that second keep worth twice as many wells.
That's true.
So what do you like to prioritize on this map as far as your picks and bans, Rapid?
If you're a team that's in favor of prioritizing Johanna with either a pick or a ban, this is maybe one of the maps that I would say teams do so less frequently, just because there's only 2 lanes, it's less rotation based, so Johanna's wave clear kind of gets less of an advantage here. Still a strong tank though, so certainly bannable or pickable by any means, and it looks like that's what we're going to see here.
Yeah, not exactly a big shocker there. Johanna just constantly a threat on every map anywhere in the meta. But Brightwing May banned out, so with May gone, both of our main blind tanks are out. So you gotta wonder if maybe both of these teams are looking for auto attackers like maybe a Vala? No? Okay, Sylvanas. I tried, Rabid. I took my shot.
That's alright. Vala's a good guess. Sylvanas certainly strong though as well, and helps the objective if you're able to secure that, kind of get additional value. So popular pick here. In response, we see the Varian Anduin. Anduin sometimes chosen as a counter to the Varian, so maybe trying to anticipate that and kind of locking up both ends of the father-son duo.
There you go. The Ren men have been secured for the side of ReGen Rebel. And that's also very thematic going against the first pick Sylvanas. But Muradin and Lucio are going to be the response here over on the side of Protectors of Aiur.
I'm glad you're here to break down the WoW lore for us, because I'm completely lost. So,
hey,
we're a good team.
When you got no life, you can keep up with these kind of things. I personally really liked Sylvanas' redemption arc. Not everyone did, but, to each their own. But with Muradin, it's going to be very dangerous wandering around with that extra Lucio speed, able to close the gap, not just with his leap, but also just being able to move around a little quicker with that extra boost from Lucio.
Yeah, Lucio is also another good counter to Varian. The main difficulty is you got to be level 10 to get the high 5 and the short cooldown cleanse. So you kind of have to play a little bit more cautiously, maybe between 4 and 10, when Lucio really comes online to help people out there.
Well, we've got both the Tassadar and Artanis being banned out. Big time haters on the Aiur side of things. Makes sense with the matchup here. But Sonya,
no Protoss allowed.
Yeah, no Protoss, exactly. Sonya and Chromie got to be the pickups here. So good, solid burst damage potential coming in from Chromie to be able to follow up on that Varian. And meanwhile, there's Li Ming and ETC to round out things for Protectors of Aiur.
Yeah, so like we were saying earlier with the Johanna and kind of maybe some of her a little bit lower value on this map, ETC, particularly offlane ETC, is maybe more viable here because you don't need as much wave clear and there isn't as much lane soaking dedicated to the offlaner. So this is one of the maps where I think that could be more common for certain teams that like to run that.
Meanwhile, Hanzo going to be the final pickup to round out the draft for ReGen Rebel. Now, of course, Hanzo used to be the #1 highest damage dealer to the race potential here on Battlefield of Eternity, but his build was nerfed a little bit for that purpose specifically. But he's still pretty good, Rabbit. He's still a good race hero.
Yeah, and I think maybe even more importantly than the race is his ability to poke relatively safely with a couple of his abilities. So even if you aren't able to necessarily set up for that optimal geometry angle, he still can do pretty good damage from a distance, which it looks like ReGen Rebel is kind of setting up for with the Chromie as well.
Yeah, so I think a big part of this story of this game is going to be how well ReGen Rebel can push their advantage between levels 4 and 10. When they get that Variant taunt, how well can they get out to a lead here? Because I feel like in the later game is really when this double tank, by the way, Muradin ETC, over on the side of Protectors of Aiur, later in the game is when that's really going to come online and become more powerful. But let's go ahead and get into game #1 here, Battlefield of Eternity. On the left, we've got Protectors of Aiur. We've got E-Day on the ETC. Muradin's name. I chose the wrong side, Rabbit. Ikpatika. Yeah. On the Muradin. Tracer on the Li Ming. Sergeant Scoops on the Lucio. And Orion going to be playing the Sylvanas.
All right, and on the right-hand side with ReGen Rebel, we have Harrison on the Varian, Velaravia on the Anduin, Taco playing the Hanzo, Prostman Pat on the Chromie, and Meow Meow Cats to round it out with the Sonya.
The toughest one you had there was Meow Meow Cats. I'm jealous. Right away, both teams going to honor the 1v4. ETC was thinking about trying to get a little advantage on the bot side, but ultimately... Wait a minute, is that Ipecac? No.
Close.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, that's the name of a medicine. I know that one. But no, it's not. It's not Ipecac. Here, for out though, known as Ick.
There you go.
Gonna be jumping out there, getting a little low, but Muradin's got that second win, so always able to heal it back up. Right away, Taco going right to the chat. No surprise there. These two teams very friendly with each other. Yeah, you know. The worst they could say is no. It's okay. At level 4, you won't have to ask permission anymore.
It's true.
Meanwhile, Sonya looks like she's heading down. Maybe gonna... Nope. She thought better of it. Go back to top.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they realized they weren't quite level 4 yet, and even with the Sonya rotation may not be strong enough on the point, or...
Yeah. I don't know. We'll maybe have to ask. We'll put that on our list of questions. It's not all that relevant, really. It was a little bit of a half rotation.
on top, though, so it looks like there's a little bit of a swippy swap here in the lanes. And for a gank, maybe on the Sonya.
They're going to try it. The slide, the knockback. But Meow Meow Cat's going to spin their way on out. And look at the response rotations. Everybody just kind of breaking off from mid there after that gank attempt.
Yep.
Oh, but there's another slide with the face melt, and there we go. Orion gets the kill. The charge in from Harrison, though, on the other side. They're trying to get a counter kill onto Orion, but ultimately going to be able to make it out of that. But that is first blood going over to Protectors of Aiur.
Yeah, and they're also quite proactive on their hard camp here, getting that taken care of and choosing to hold it for a little bit, though, while a couple of them back for mana. Yeah,
I would definitely rather have that early and not need it quite yet, you know, be able to hold it rather than being a little bit too late. But I like that call. They timed it up pretty well. Meanwhile, we are going to see the Immortals spawning and a rotation in towards the bot from Protectors of Aiur, but it looks like they are going to go ahead and position to, try to invade. They get onto this camp where Meow Meow Cats is trying to spin to win, but this is going to end up being a 1v5 with the full invade from Protectors of Aiur as they pick up a second kill here and snipe the camp.
Yeah, a little bit faster response from Protectors. And Hanzo's staying a little bit too long as well, gets picked up there. So that'll be a good amount of their damage and reduce their ability to keep up on the race, and I would expect ReGen to kind of play the rest of this rather passively.
Yeah, they do definitely have an opportunity to try to take some off the shield, but instead are going to rotate to the bottom side, clear the wave, and try to get out some camp for some counter pressure here.
Yeah, interesting call. Maybe thinking it's just early enough in the game that that amount of health isn't particularly troublesome to chew through with their damage structure. And giving Sony a little bit of a boost into the ETC, who will definitely have a hard time clearing that camp by himself.
Up top, here comes the full shield Immortal coming out here, and the top lane pretty much untouched so far, but this is still Sylvanas pushing with a full shield Immortal here, rather.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get a good chunk of this fort. I don't know about the whole thing, but with traits from Sylvanas there and a good chunk of health left, definitely a possibility, especially if they're able to get some picks or pressure ReGen back far enough to be unable to defend. And yeah, definitely going to get it now. Yeah,
and still the full health nearly of this Immortal as he's going to start chunking away at the keep front wall. Actually knocks Velback and Anduin going to end up going down here. So a nice little pick. And not only are we getting the win more with Sylv on the push, but we're also getting the win more in these team fights with a couple of extra resets for Tracer.
Yeah, that was an unlucky bounce for sure from the Immortal.
Yeah, just unfortunate timing, you're right. And a nice time trap there coming out from Chromie, but not quite enough follow-up damage to be able to get the Li Ming. And for now, the kill count remains 4-0 in the favor of Protectors of Aiur.
And they almost have their level 10s as well, which will give them a good, have them in a good spot to defend against any additional variantants going forward with that high 5, which I assume is what we'll see, but certainly could still see Sound Barrier as well if they prefer that option.
Yeah, so the question that we had been thinking about to start this one off was how much of an advantage can ReGen Rebel get with their taunt advantage in the level 4 to level 10 area, and thus far that's been a trick question, Rabbit.
Yeah, it's definitely been challenging. I think a big part of it was that invade on the hard camp, where they lost the Sonya as well as the camp, and that kind of put them behind for the objective. Hanzo was sort of in a rough position off of that too, and ended up falling. So I think if Varian's tracking the other team's rotations a little bit differently during that period, maybe they could have kept that camp and not given those kills and been able to contest the objective with their advantage during that time. But now they just have to get level 10.
Yeah, level 10's now in for Protectors of Aiur. We've got Avatar, along with the High Five, Disintegrate, and the Mind Control. Rabbit, what do you think? What do you think for Mosh versus Stage Dive?
I mean, the correct answer is always Mosh, but some people think that Stage Dive is more fun, and so they'll sometimes pick that. But looks like Ide knows what's up, and he's going to go Mosh.
There it is, and there is the Mosh. Meow Meow Cat's going to get the Leap of Faith from Anduin, and for now, that is a disengage. Mosh and Disintegrate and Mind Control used, but no kills there for Protectors of Aiur.
Yeah, yep, good defense from ReGen. Solo Mosh is a little bit challenging into the Anduin with the Leap of Faith, so I think going forward, just have to make sure that whoever you're moshing is at least out of range of the Anduin, but maybe he was expecting a little bit more burst follow-up on that too, I'm not sure.
Either way, that's still going to be a very high health Immortal for Protectors of Aiur. Got about 2/3 of the shield still on that thing, but level 10s are now in for ReGen Rebel. We've got Leap along with the Dragon Strike. The Chromie, of course, already had the Slowing Sands. And looks like we are going to get Holy Word Salvation from the Anduin.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think through, kind of if there's like a big, wombo that they're looking to dodge with that, or maybe just looking to block an initial Li Ming combo to prevent the resets.
Stormbolt and Mind Control kind of blocking each other out there a little bit. Tracer gets the blink, just barely able to dodge that Q from Taco. Meanwhile, looks like both teams are going to go ahead and have a fight over this siege camp. Holy Word Salvation does come out, gets nearly the full value, protecting everybody there. For Sergeant Scoops actually goes in for the boop. Ick going to be the first to fall, though, and it looks like for now, this is going to be a 3-for-0, make it 4-for-0, as they're going to jump over the wall, and I think they're going to get Orion. Rabid? Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. Okay, I called that one a little early, but I was pretty sure. And there you go. The kill counter suddenly reset to 4-4. We're starting over again.
Definitely see some value in that fight from Holy Word Salvation. Gave him kind of the sustain to stay in the fight and keep going and gradually swing things in their direction with that additional sustain play.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like the goal for ReGen Rebel here is to convert the fort off of that big team fight win. Multiple members up, though. That Sylvanas stagger is going to be a small factor here as Sylva's still running in, and that is going to be the top or the bottom fort going down for Protectors of Aiur. Is now level 13's in for ReGen Rebel. They even have themselves a little XP lead here, Rabid.
Yeah, that was going to be a tough fort defense, I think, and especially with the double camps pushing in, I think it's smart of Protectors just to give that and look for another opportunity here with the Immortal fight.
Meanwhile, a couple backs coming out to reset mana for ReGen Rebel, so that's gonna hinder their ability to fight here in the first phase. That's gonna be halftime for Protectors of Aiur, given up for free there. But now both teams have level 13. We're gonna see the halftime show in the mid, and it's gonna spawn as the attack rotation here. So it looks like ReGen Rebel gonna have to dive in deep to try to get aggressive.
Now we see the Dragon Strike coming out to sort of zone them off the Immortal and reset the fight a little bit.
Tracer with that Li Ming does have very good poke ability on this, much like the Hanzo on the other side. Li Ming just kind of able to poke from a very safe distance here.
Yeah, ReGen's definitely on a timer. They gotta find something. Charge onto the Li Ming. Attempted Mosh, but a great taunt to break him out of that.
Mind Control does come out onto Harrison, but he's still trying to walk away here.
Big leap.
Yeah, leap back onto the Sylve. That's going to be the 1-for-nothing exchange so far, but it looks like Rebel's still on the chase. Ick going to jump over the wall to try to slow, and we will see the rest of Protectors of Aiur making it out there. However, Immortal is secured and going down the bot lane once again with pretty healthy shields to back it up.
Yeah, I don't know if Protectors will be able to push much with it, though. So it should be cleared up relatively quickly, I think. On that last chase, though, I think you see sort of the opportunity cost of taking the shield wall on the very end without that reduced cooldown for the Warbringer. He wasn't able to kind of track down some of those fleeing members of Protectors of Aiur, so a little bit harder to chase him down, but certainly a little bit more resistant to getting popped by a Li Ming combo as well. So,
meanwhile, up top, solo Mosh onto Meow Meow Cats, but not quite able to convert that. Not enough follow-up damage to take them out there. Oh, here comes the leap. Yeah, leap Dragon Strike. Don't see that combo every day, Rabid, but they are going to charge in. They did not get the camp, so right now, Mind Control comes out, and a nice salvation, but that's going to lead to a slide in from Ide. They end up getting the kill onto Varian off of that, but Sonya ends up going down on the bot side, so this fight kind of going all over the place. And Tracer...
It's not done yet either.
No, Tracer trying to follow that up. Still trying to hunt down the Anduin, but Anduin's hoofing it quick as he can. Yeah, 0 for 4 exchange there. Protectors of Aiur going to try to convert this into a keep.
Yeah, and I think that fight we saw a little bit of the strength of the double tank composition, just having more HP and more CC up front allowed them to kind of withstand the early engage from ReGen and gradually turn the fight back in favor of Protectors.
Yeah, it makes sense. Once that taunt goes down, longer the fight goes on after that. Definitely, I agree, favors Protectors of Aiur. And now with the camp steal, Protectors of Aiur are going to rotate directly out to the aggressive portion of this big mid lane, and they're going to see if they can get out some race immediately before ReGen Rebel can get in here to defend.
They're not quite going to get half time, but a good chunk of the health will be knocked off the Immortal.
Meanwhile, Li Ming's got that mirror ball at level 5, so you're going to have 5 of those Qs coming in, those darts. Here is the slide and the mosh. Once again, single, but still full stun duration. But look at the point-blank leap. Going to end up securing the kills there. And ReGen Rebel is on the chase, 3 for nothing. And they are still going for more. But looks like they're going to double back here and look to get a race. I think this might be the first Immortal going over to ReGen Rebel here, Rapid.
Yeah, I think Meow Meow Cats might be thinking this is personal. I think, what is this, the 3rd solo mosh?
Yeah, then just stomped right in place. It was great. There is halftime, but still 10 seconds on even just getting back to 4 for Protectors of Aiur. So they will rotate up. And Cap is going to be grabbed. Or no, actually, they backed off of it. They were feeling a little spoopy there, Rabid.
Yeah, maybe worried about the invade. Not having enough vision of the other team and not enough friendly members on the map, but feeling safe enough to grab it now, and with Sonya having just backed, I would be surprised if ReGen tries to push in. But Sonya going to bring up the wave behind this Immortal, pushing into the top lane, which should be enough to at least get the top fort. We'll see if they can get anything off the keep wall as well.
Harrison already positioning down below, maybe looking to try to run in from the side to get a taunt, but for now, it looks like it's just a little bit of poke damage. Harrison gonna drop the banner on the backsides. A little extra spell shields for Chromie, or spell damage, I should say.
Yeah, and good warding from E-Day on the ETC, just holding that bottom flank there. That's kind of the one spot where Varian, could potentially loop all the way around that wall and try to get a pick behind the gates. But not even able to convert that fort, which is a little surprising, but speaks to the defense of Protectors of Fire here.
Yeah, very nice defense there. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, you've got the Shaman camp pressing up into the keep, so that's going to require a rotation from ReGen Rebel. It allows a free camp take in the top for Protectors of Fire.
Sure. And with that fort still alive and no keep in top lane for ReGen, that's a heavy amount of pressure barreling down that lane.
And constantly have those catapults spawning down or up in that top lane. Still about a half-level lead right now for ReGen Rebel, however.
Yeah, I think if I'm them, I'm going to top, clearing that out, maybe getting a couple waves there, waiting for 20 before I look to play aggressive. If I'm Protectors of Ire, I'm maybe playing a little bit more in the center part of the map, trying to catch them in a rotation, force a fight before level 20, or maybe if I'm feeling confident, we'll get level 20 before the next objective, just kind of playing it patiently as well.
I think you're onto something here, Rabbit. Here comes the rotation. Now, they don't see these time traps, so ReGen Rebel has vision on them here, and they'll even reveal it there. Time Trap does come down onto Muradin, but for now they're going to go ahead and make their way out. They're going to grab this camp, but Protectors of Ire are hanging out here, but they're going to think better of invading with ReGen Rebel being so close to 20.
Yeah, if they were really desperate, that might have been a place to take a fight, but you do still have those two towers kind of behind the camp that can sometimes be problematic with invades, and their map position is actually pretty good. They still have both keeps, they still have a fort. Still some time to play for level 20.
There's the leap in the crater, but not quite finding anybody there from Meow Meow Cats. E-Day also with a really nice face melt to prevent the charge following up that taunt from Harrison. So nice peels coming in. I guess that's what you get for having double the tanks, Rabbit. You got double the peels.
Yeah, it definitely helps. A little surprised that taunt onto the Tracer, but not enough follow-up to secure that. A little surprised they were able to get so much damage in being down level 20 for Protectors, and still able to kind of attack that for free. Sonya's Leap, though, is back up, a relatively short cooldown with that level 20 upgrade, so they could look for another engage, or it looks like they're just going to push and secure the Immortal for ReGen.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and race it, and they do secure themselves another Immortal, but that is going to be level 20 for Protectors of Ire. Rabbit, do you think maybe the defensive and the fighting with the Storm Talent tier advantage was more of a... would have maybe been more beneficial for Rebel there?
I probably would have played more aggressively with the level 20s, but, maybe they were fearful of that same map position, pushing too far into the enemy side of the map. They may not have felt comfortable after missing a couple of those initial heroics. But we do see the level 20s now in for Protectors as well. ETC has the Bolt of the Storm. Dark Lady's Call for Sylvanas, so really short cooldown on that mind control. Rewind for Muradin is a great talent, so definitely some strong level 20s on their side as well.
Time Trap going to be triggered there, but mind control with the leap coming out, but there's the jump, a second stun, and the mosh on the backside. That's going to be a high-value mosh with some leaping resets coming out, as Protectors of Ire are going to get 4 for nothing there, and it's only Varian left to tell the tale. And Taco throwing out the GGs already, as Protectors of Ire are on the march here in the top lane.
Yeah, basically your only mosh interrupts for the side of ReGen are on your frontliners, which can be kind of a risky place for them to be. Anduin does have the stun on Chastise at level 20, but opted to go into the upgraded Holy Word. Other than that, you're kind of just left with the leap of faith. So tough mosh, and that'll secure the game. Well played.
That is game number 1 for Protectors of Aiur here on Battlefield of Eternity. Very nice. Game's thinking about it. There we go.
Stuck in.
It didn't want to leave the game. It's like, let's just go ahead and stay in this game forever and never go to the loading screen.
Oof.
There we go. There's our stats. So yeah, overall, pretty back and forth. Definitely a nice push from Protectors of Aiur in the early game, but a nice mid-game comeback for ReGen Rebel. They were up and got a couple of those Immortals in the mid-game there. But yeah, it as it often does in Heroes of the Storm, came down to a big team fight at the end there, and Protectors of Aiur already had that win condition in that top keep just secured, ready to go. And boy, as soon as they had that win condition, they took it straight to the core.
Yeah. 4-man mosh usually doesn't hurt either. Nice work by Ide. Finding that at the end of the game there.
Alrighty, well, we'll give you guys a quick look at these talents. You guys can take a look at what they were building into. But for now, we are going to take a break as we set up for game number 2. We'll be back with the draft in just a moment. welcome back, everybody. Game number 2 of our best of 3 series. Going to be played out on Infernal Shrines, so we're sticking with the Diablo maps here, Rabid.
I like it. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated, just a good old match on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, ReGen Rebel selecting map pick here, taking us to Infernal Shrines for the game number 2. Brightwing going to be the initial ban out for Protectors of Aiur.
Stukov ban in return. No healers allowed.
Yep, no healer game. That's not a healer. But it does match what Protectors of Aiur had banned out last time around, and there's the Joe in response. So bans, it's going to be exactly the same, I believe, from the last match.
For the Alliance above all.
And Sergeant Scoop's going to pick up the Anduin before ReGen Rebel can take both of the Ren men this time around.
Yep, definitely were some nice saves the last game from the Anduin, so makes sense to reprioritize that. In response, though, we see a white main who's maybe less commonly played, but certainly very potent healer, and Jaina, a great backline assassin.
Yeah, worth noting we do have a roster swap for ReGen Rebel. Looks like we had Vel stepping out and Rainbow stepping in. So white main is going to come out. It's a different healer, different player, different healer. Makes sense. Meanwhile, Ide going to grab the Hugger, and Orion going to grab Tassadar.
Tassadar is also a good wave clear assassin, so brings some clear to the shrine along with Hogger, probably one of Hogger's strongest maps.
Meanwhile, we will see the Muradin ban out, so they're not wanting to see Ik Piktek back on that one the second time around.
Yeah, strong tank can hold the positioning for his team. Maybe a little less aggressive than, say, like a Diablo, but with his big HP pool, he can create a lot of space and potentially look for some aggressive picks as well with the jump and the Stormbolt. But they're going to say no thank you to the Diablo from the side of ReGen.
Yeah, so big choke on the tanks here. Gotta imagine that ReGen Rebels can want to get their pick of the remaining tanks right here.
Yeah, and with the Anduin being picked up already, I personally would look into a tank that maybe specializes in stunning multiple people at one time. That way, if you do get a stun off on a couple people, Anduin has to pick only one that he can save. So that'd be something like an ETC or maybe an Anubarak. We'll see if they opt into either of those. But for now, we'll get a Sonya and a Tychus out from ReGen.
Yeah, Harrison gonna save his tank pick for last. Murky tank incoming.
Possibly.
Technically, he has a stun.
Sure.
We are going to see Falstad coming out along with the Blaze. So you mentioned multiple, a tank that can stun multiple. And there's Blaze. And Tyrande.
So ReGen opting to not pick a tank this time and looking for more value out of adding a second healer plus some damage augmentation through the Hunter's Mark as well as just Tyrande's overall damage. Assuming Sonya then is going to be responsible for holding that front line and Jaina and Tychus to kind of back her up.
I say I made a joke about Murky technically having a stun. Tyrande has an even better stun.
You're not wrong.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes.
Normally it's a follow-up stun, and I'm not certain what they'll be using to set it up to begin with, but maybe they'll surprise us.
Maybe.
Sonya does get Leap at level 10, so maybe looking for some plays off of that. Jaina also has some options to CC her opponents, so that would be another opportunity, but I think I like the more traditional comp coming out from Protectors of Aiur.
I had a feeling you would say that, Rabid.
Yeah, they just have a lot of CC. They have some good damage to kind of back it up. Anduin providing some nice safety, both in the pull as well as some good sustained healing. Normally, when you have assassins like Jaina or Tychus, you want a tank that can hold people in place long enough for them to do their damage, and that's something that ReGen decided to forego in their draft. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get the damage out without needing a tank to set it up for them.
All right, well, let's get on into game number 2 here on Infernal Shrines. On the left, we've got Protectors of Aiur. We've got Ikpiktek on the Muradin. Or no, sorry, on the Blaze. Ide going to be on the Hogger. Sergeant Scoop's going to be playing the Anduin. We've got Orion on the Tassadar, and we've got Tracer on the Falstad.
And Meow Meow Cats coming back on the Sonya. Rainbow going to be playing the White Mane. Taco on the Tychus. Harrison playing the Tyrande. And Prostman Pat on the Jaina.
Owl did hit 2 members, which off the opening gate, which means that ReGen Rebel will win this game.
A little bit of a scuffle over the mid here, but a lot of ReGen's abilities didn't end up going on the wave, so we'll be stuck clearing that here for a little bit.
Meanwhile, Orion already in the bot side, already clearing, and definitely going to be a rotational advantage early here, but a couple more kisses coming in from Harrison as he's finding the owls at the very least at the start here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good value from the scouting on any map, really, but on this map in particular, it can be helpful to scout out enemy positions around the shrines, and it's also really handy just for scouting the enemy team's camp priority throughout the match as well.
Speaking of camp priority, ReGen Rebel trying to get this bottom camp out, but it is scouted out and rotated to in time for Protectors of Aiur. So ReGen Rebel going to have to back out, and they do manage to get out without losing any members there. I was a little surprised. I thought for sure there was going to be at least 1 or 2 kills there, but chalk one up for double supports here, Rabid.
Definitely doesn't hurt. Good recognition from the side of ReGen as well to say, hey, we're probably not going to be taking this fight. Let's back up and get everybody out. Rainbow just kind of laughing off the damage there a little bit.
Yeah.
And walks away as well.
White main tank. Confirmed.
Sure.
It's trapped on the wrong side of that Tassadar wall, but still able to survive. But still, a good amount of damage. They get about half of this front wall down on the fort for Protectors of Aiur before falling back to grab their own camp to walk out into the mid lane here.
And I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see them try to invade this camp here as well, given their tank frontline advantage.
Oh, but
a lot
here
of
comes
cooldowns out from the side of ReGen, but forces the pull, and Tychus goes down to the Tassadar laning.
Yeah, and Meow Meow Cats, meanwhile, had rotated down, so they were looking to make that a 4v5, but Tychus going down just as Meow Meow Cats had gotten there. So that is going to be another pick, and no camp invasion, but it did prevent ReGen Rebel from getting it here.
Yeah, I'd say almost as good as getting a camp yourself. Preventing your opponents from having one on the map is also pretty nice.
Definitely the next best thing.
And they're going to grab their hard camp in the upper left here as well, which gives ReGen an opportunity to start this shrine if they choose.
They will indeed. One thing I will say, Tyrande is particularly good on this map for the shrine fights. Being able to constantly have access to something to auto attack to reduce the cooldown of her Q does give her a lot of extra heals. Not sure if that's going to offset the need for a frontline presence, but we'll see. Meow Meow Cat's going to get trapped on the wrong side of that Tassadar wall and gets focused down. Pretty good focus targeting there from Protectors of Aiur.
Yeah, although to be fair, they don't have a lot of options. It's usually Tychus or Sonya.
That's true.
At 7, Tychus does get his, I forget the talent's name, but it gives him armor whenever he's stunned. Relentless Soldier, I think? Something like that. So we'll see if he opts into that. That will definitely make him more tanky in some of these fights and a little bit more resistant to being blown up off the Blaze stun.
attempted gank in the top side, but Hogger able to spin away safely there. Meanwhile, the siege is on here in the mid as Protectors of Aiur getting themselves a frozen Punisher. The charge in from Ick gonna follow up, and then the stuns and the roots coming in from John Cena, but not gonna be enough to secure a kill there. But they have gotten the fort down to about half health here.
Yeah, a lot of good damage coming out. The Frozen Punisher also just really strong to be able to siege with that, since it can shut down your opponent's buildings for a period of time. But not quite able to get the fort, which is definitely a relief, I would say, for ReGen. Considering they had both Tychus and Sonya up at the top lane during the start of that push. I would have expected that fort to go down.
Yeah, but still, it's quite a lot of value for the first Punisher. A lot of times you kind of expect to get the front wall and maybe some fort damage, but they got probably about 80% of that fort down, so that's pretty good value.
Yeah, definitely not complaining if I'm Protectors of Aiur.
Oh, there's the double root. Taco gonna end up going down here once again. That relentless push and that good focus fire. You mentioned it. Not a lot of options as far as viable targets, but Crossman Pratt's gonna end up going down. And you're right, they're not focusing on the supports here, Rabbit. They're just focus firing down the damage and the Sonya, and then the supports have nothing to heal.
Yeah, whatever's in front. That'll be another 2 pickups for the side of Protectors of Aiur, along with their level 10s, so they'll go ahead and take this fort for free. Well, maybe not for free, but after those kills,
Yeah,
they'll be able to
they did earn it,
tested.
but yes. But yeah, you mentioned it. Level 10's in, and that was a very nice light bomb coming in from Protectors of Aiur. They've also got the drop bunker, the black hole. Looks like Hogger's got Shockwave. And we've got Mighty Gust in from the Falstad.
Yeah, so a couple of tools to push back the side of ReGen if the team fight's getting a little too hairy, and then some more CC to kind of follow up the Blaze and the Hogger engages.
While Protectors of Aiur are going to use this level 10 advantage further to try to threaten the mid here. There are the level 10s coming in hot for ReGen Rebel. We're going to pick up the Draken Laser Drill, along with the Ring of Frost, the Leap. We've got Scarlet Aegis, and the Starfall.
All right. Be curious to see their usage of the laser drill in particular. I think on the shrines, Odin can be really strong just with the AoE abilities and the long range on the auto attacks, but looking to prioritize maybe the minigun uptime with the earlier level 4 in the rhythm.
Makes sense. You can't utilize Tychus's auto attack ability if if he's in Odin. So I think that's why a lot of people go laser drill, but you're giving up a lot on this map for not having Odin. So I'll be very interested to see exactly how much value they get out of that exchange.
Good quick clear of the Protectors of Aiur camp in the top by ReGen, but oh my goodness, the Wombo combo.
Whoa, big black hole. Scarlet Aegis is going to come down. It's going to allow quite a bit of healing to come out here, and they actually get the counter kill on the Blaze off of that. That was an amazing engage for Protectors of Aiur, but they just the double healing really came through there as ReGen Rebel seems to be hitting their power spike here, Rabbit.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work from the white main healing, keeping them in the game here, but the health bar is starting to look a little low on the side of ReGen.
Yeah, despite the double support, they can't quite keep Tyrande up here, and it is 36 to 33. But ReGen Rebel sticking maybe around sticking around a little too long with health bars a little bit too low. And Protectors of Aiur pick up a double kill off of that. And get themselves an Archaean Punisher to march down the bot lane here.
Another solid Punisher flavor. I don't think anybody likes having the mortar ones, but we'll take Arcane and Frozen any day.
Yeah, all the mortar does is really zone. It can do some extra siege damage, but oh, the big focus. The Unstoppable actually does come out onto Meow Meow Cats. And wow, the healing came through. That was a lot of damage, but also a lot of healing.
Yeah, definitely seeing the strength of Whitemane. You know, if she's able to heal, you know, you're not putting CC or a silence or something down on her. She is definitely able to keep people alive through an insane amount of damage. And we've seen that a couple times now in these fights.
And yet, big siege damage coming in from Protectors of Ire to follow up that Punisher. They are able to secure themselves the bottom keep. And we mentioned it last time, you know, what Protectors of Ire was able to do with that win condition after they had gotten the top keep. At this point, Rabbit, it kind of feels like it might be a couple of levels before a team wipe automatically is a go core moment, but that lane and that win condition later in the game has definitely been opened up for Protectors of Ire here.
Yeah, and even without, you know, necessarily being able to end through there or kind of that aside, just having that constant lane pressure on that one side of the map can be really detrimental late game. Since there is still the fort and the keep on the side of Protectors of Ire, having the constant catapults uncontested against the side of ReGen is going to build up a lot of pressure over time. So even in this mid lane shrine fight that's coming up, they're going to be pretty far away from bottom to be able to push that out very far and deal with that mounting pressure over time.
Makes me wonder if we're ever going to get a top shrine fight, but we'll see. We'll see. We do have the leap coming in from Meow Meow Cats. They're trying to defend this top fort. They're going to turn around with the black hole. Laser drill goes down. Ide still in deep, though. Going to have to try to spin his way out, but does not get a favorable bounce. And it's going to end up going down here, as that's the second kill of the game for ReGen Rebel.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the strengths of Tychus in this draft is you have someone who can definitely deal with that Hogger rather quickly. So if he's just kind of spinning to win on the shrine or in some of these tight corridors, Tychus is able to say no thank you and use that minigun to put him back in his place.
Yeah, the
Sony
spin
having
does.
to back, though, to clear the core. So kind of dealing with some of those catapults that have been rolling in over time.
Yeah, we've got two catapults in lane here right now, but we do see the 4v4 in the top side as Hoggers just come down, so Protectors of Ire are going to be forced to back away from, once again, trying to get that top fort. Camp was secured for ReGen Rebel, but still quite haven't gotten to that alert. There it is. I was about to say. Any time now for that shrine alert in the mid.
Yeah, and this is actually great timing for Protectors on this hard camp. They'll have this pushing during the objective. This will likely get top fort by itself. If it's lucky, it'll push all the way to the keep wall, potentially. So they'll have pressure in both top and bottom lane while this is going.
Yeah, and unless ReGen Rebel wants to spend some time clearing this, it looks like they are going to go up and at least drop a grenade there to try to aid the minion wave, but they are going to go ahead and make this a team fight here on the shrine.
Yeah, Falstead was also helping to push up bottom before flying in to assist with the objective, so giving that a little bit of a boost for the side of Protectors as well.
All right, down goes the laser drill, but it is going to get lasered down itself there, while Protectors of Ire walling off the members from really coming in to follow up the laser drill. Taco getting focused. Light bomb with the leap, but look at the Aegis come down, and they are turning around off of that Whitemane healing. Ide getting low. He's going to have to back up. Both members have, both teams have members that are very low and being a little trepidatious, but up in the top, Tracer manages to snipe out the Tychus. And after all of that, Rabbit, that is the first kill of the team fight.
Yeah, and I think that'll get the shrine here for Protectors of Ire. They did pick up the top fort as well, so Sonya dealing with the remains of top lane, which is pushing up to the keep wall, and then we'll have the Mortar John Cena marching down mid lane here to push onto that keep.
Right away, you see the mortar does deal that extra siege damage, so they're going to be able to break through this wall really quick and immediately get onto this keep. Looks like they're waiting for Tychus. The leap comes out, cleanse comes out onto Meow Cats, but does get trapped behind the wall and stunned again. There's the leap coming out, though, on the other side, but the gust will come out to zone them, and with the keep grabbed, Protectors of Aiur going to go ahead and make their way out and not look to overstay here.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. That was a great leap by Meow Cats and a wise gust from Tracer to kind of reset the fight there. And getting the keep, I think that's about all you can hope for from the Punisher. So then you're kind of looking at a 5v5 on the enemy core. And even without tanks, I think that can be a risky proposition.
If anything, I think the double support is even stronger on a core defense than pretty much anywhere else. But there is level 20 for Protectors of Aiur. They have 10 to 2 on the kill counter, and with all the extra structure advantage they have, they're in a really good spot here with a 2-level lead.
Yeah, looking to kind of push this bottom rotation. Tyrande doing her best to scout, almost making it to that bush, but not quite. Blaze finds the rest of ReGen, though.
Out comes the ring. Meanwhile, Hogger just bouncing all around, but he's going to end up falling in the middle of ReGen Rebel there. Risky business, but they get the counter kill onto the Tychus as Meow Cat's trying to spin in their direction, but they'll end up breaking off for now. As Harrison kind of playing the tank on the chase there, but got to remember he's on Tyrande this match.
Yeah, and if I'm ReGen, I think I'd take that 1-for-1 any day. Definitely gets them closer to 20, and now they're a little less than a level down, but big rotation coming in from Protectors of Aiur.
Yeah, Tyrande trying to peel. Meow Cat's spears in, but yeah, that's going to be Tyrande going down. Oh, and the Mighty Gust with the big wind on the side, but they actually don't get a lot of the follow-up damage right away, but cooldowns come up. They'll get a kill, but look at the counter. Immediately onto the Tassadar, Sonya goes down, and Postman Pratt going to be able to make it out of there, but just a bloodbath in the top lane.
Yeah, given the level 20 advantage, I'm surprised that we didn't see the Jaina picked up as well, but good turn by Postman Pat and the Meow Cats on the Sonya to at least pick up the Tassadar kill and sort of even things out a little bit in that team fight.
Yeah, it's going to give them level 20, but yeah, Sonya is going to be spawning a little bit after the shrine activates. Meanwhile, Protectors of Aiur going to push down, push up this top lane wave and see if they could secure themselves the keep. As this shrine, we are finally getting the top shrine, Rabid. So we're gonna see a fight over this, but it's gonna be tough with all of the lane pressure that ReGen Rebel has in the mid and the bot to be able to balance that versus being able to try to get up here to contest this shrine.
Yeah, Sonya stopping to clear mid as well, I think, is going to give them give Protectors of Aiur a bit of a head start on this.
Healthy lead,
They're all set up on the shrine and have almost half of the required shrine monkeys cleared out already.
And as they arrive here, over half, and continuing, the laser drill does go down. They're going to try to zone them out there with the wall. 8 left now for Protectors of Aiur. Meow Cat's trying to go in deep. Postman Pratt taking a ton of damage. Aegis goes down to get some heals topped off, but only 4 left needed for the shrine here. The charge in from the bot side, stunning 2, leap on the backside, but Tychus is the first to fall. Meow Cat's getting low, getting the healing from this double healer comp. Ide bouncing around once again the members, but this time he lives. Gus zoning 2, they only need 1 more, and there it is, the Frozen Punisher picked up by Protectors of Aiur. Meow Cats is going to go down. Rainbow is trying to live. They get the Hogger, but John Cena going to jump in onto Harrison And that's going to be another kill. 1 for 4 for Protectors of Aiur and Taco. Calling in the GGs already, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely was an interesting idea, and if you hadn't tried it before, can't really fault you for giving it an honest try, really.
Yeah, they gave it a whirl, and Prostman Pratt going to be picked up here at the end. Tracer. And that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2, and the domination going over to Protectors of Aiur. They protected it quite well, Rabbit.
They did indeed.
I mean, they let Tassadar die a few times, but they protected Aiur.
Yeah, doesn't Tassadar die in the game anyways? Is my
Spoilers!
Or at least on.
No, I'm kidding.
Hey, the game's like 25 years old. I don't spoil much.
That's very true. All right, well, I'm going to reach out real quick here to the team captain for Protectors of Aiur and see if they want to hop in with us to do an interview.
Sounds good.
I can find my way to the team captain list. There we go. You want to hop into an NGS lobby?
Sure, I will meet you in lobby 2.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Oh, maybe I should have waited to see if you were in the middle of saying something before I said hey.
No. We were ready to go for you. Congratulations. Big win.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, how is your team feeling? Were you guys kind of coming into this match feeling like you were, maybe the team to beat tonight, or were you guys? How are you guys feeling coming in against ReGen Rebel?
Yeah, we're pretty confident. We're just, I think we're kind of like on fire a little bit right now. So like now's a good time for our team. I don't think it's got too much to do with ReGen Rebel. I think we're just kind of in our rhythm right now. So hopefully that lasts through the season into the playoffs. Because I think 2 seasons ago we crushed it, got to the playoffs, and then just nothing in the playoffs. So
Peaked too early, huh?
yeah. I'd rather lose the games in the regular season and win the playoffs, right?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Just-
So, if you lose
just
too many
enough
of
to
those
get in the
games, you
playoffs.
don't even make it to playoffs. So,
Yeah, you got to win enough to get in the playoffs and then win the playoffs.
Yeah, be that 8th seed, shock everybody by beating the 1st seed, and then go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the best story too, right? The dark horse story, right?
There you go. Well, Rabbit, you usually like to ask most of the questions in these interviews, so I don't want to deny you that opportunity.
Oh, that's all right. I appreciate it. But yeah, it looked like you guys had some relatively standard drafts compared to at least kind of ReGen's choice in this last one with the double healer, no tank options. But I was a little bit curious about sort of your double tank choice for Game 1 on Battlefield of Eternity. Is that something that you like specifically for Battlefield? Are there other maps you feel comfortable running that? What's that kind of been like for your team?
I think it works well on Battlefield because you don't need as much lane presence in the off lane as long as you can pick up the dead soak on the floor, you can offlane, and it gives you enough, like, BOE's so team fight oriented, it gives you enough frontline to deal with stuff, and like it's nice to have Muradin, but he's not as consistent maybe as like ETC, so it's good to pick something up like that. You can kind of like help your backline and have someone in the front. It's also, I always say, like, BOE is really good at having like 3 corridors into a fight, and having like 2 people that can like deal with 2 corridors each means you can kind of cover it, versus like there's a bunch of other tanks that like they can hold 1 door pretty well, but then the team just goes in the 3rd door and kills your backline. So it's nice to have a little versatility on your front line, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely saw the strength of that, I think, in a couple of those team fights where, Varian would come in, he'd use his taunt. But then it seemed like ReGen maybe kind of ran out of steam in those fights, whereas you have, Muradin, ETC, whose stuns are on a little bit shorter cooldown, and so you could sort of have some of that return control in the fight a little bit sooner, and you had it on 2 different heroes as opposed to kind of isolating it to the Varian taunt or maybe the Sonya Leap.
Yeah, they're also both good heroes for like, all right, if you stand in the front, I'll stand in the back and heal for a minute, then we can swap and we're still in this fight, versus like someone like Varian has to like fight. His self-sustain is, well, damage mitigation, but also like his Q, and it's like if you're not hitting enemies with your Q, you're not healing off of it. So it's like Martin and ETC can both heal without a fight, you know?
Yeah, that's a great point. So a little less healer dependent, not requiring as many resources maybe from your healer, depending on who that is. You had Lucio that game, so maybe it's a little less relevant, but say you had like the Anduin or something, maybe he's pumping the heals into the damage dealers instead of the tanks.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely had some nice synergy there too. I think in that last kind of chase down the top lane, Muradin is really good at like jumping in, slowing the retreats, getting those stuns in, and then ETC coming in at the end there with that 4-man mosh kind of cleaned it up for you guys.
Yeah, out of all the tanks, those 2 have some of the best chase. So.
For game 2, ReGen opted into a tank-less comp as opposed to a double tank comp. Did that throw you guys off at all? Did you have like some discussion as you're loading into the game? Like, is this something we're worried about? How do we deal with this? What's going on? What was that like for you guys?
Yeah, I think that so I think a lot of people are really quick to write off a tankless comp because it's like, yeah, that's not meta, it's not the way to play, but like it can really surprise you. They just show up like, despite them not having a tank, they were still hard to kill because they had 2 healers, or like sometimes people will take like 4 damage or something like that, and just like the damage output of having 4 damage is like not what you're used to in a competitive setting, because you're like, everyone plays the meta, and we build our strategies on these like factors that we're used to, but like showing up with something like that, and it's just like, it's also it's elusive to some degree, where it's like they don't really have a front, they're all dancing around, and so it makes it difficult for the front line, especially like Blaze doesn't have that solid of an engage, so it's like tough to pin someone down when there's not someone trying to be in the front. They're all trying to be in the flanks and on the sides and in your back line, so it can really trick you. When we were going in, we were like, hey, like, we got to pay attention. We lose to this in Storm League a lot, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm definitely not. Don't want to imply that I would necessarily write it off on lack of merit simply because it's a tankless comp. But like you said, I think paying attention to its strengths and how to mitigate those that might be different from kind of standard team fighting is something that I think other teams definitely could learn from as well. I think that's a good approach.
Yeah, and clearly they did. Like, it can't be that bad. They did pretty well. They won a couple fights in there. Like, it's not, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there were the white main healing was pretty wild in and of itself. Kind of resetting some of those fights, and then the counter damage that came out from the Jaina Tychus was pretty solid as well. I think my personal approach on it is just with Tychus and Jaina in particular, they rely a lot on tanks to set up and or keep their target in place while they do their damage. And so maybe swapping those out for other DPS who are a little less tank reliant might add an edge or maybe give them a little bit different of a team fight outcome in some of those fights. But
Yeah,
I
can see
certainly
that.
am not an expert in in tankless drafts either, so I would defer to them if it's something they've practiced or run before. I think those were most of the questions I had. Jay, did you have any other thoughts about the game?
Not really about the game, but I feel obligated to ask. What's up with the name? What's the name origins?
Protectors of Ire?
No. Ikpiktek.
Oh, that's a couple letters I put together and made a word out of.
Alrighty.
I found them. They're free. You can just take them.
I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing there that I was missing. I kept trying to see a pattern in it, and I was thinking, like, what does this mean? It's like a puzzle that I just can't understand.
Jay's been racking his brain about this since we started the cast. He's barely been able to speak, so it's been a rough one.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's just some childhood mumble-ish that I have that I held on to. I don't know.
That's fair.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I had. But congrats again on the big win. And before we let you go, I definitely want to give you an opportunity for some shout-outs.
All right, sounds good. Well, first off, shout out to you guys for casting. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the casters the NGS has. Shout out to our subs. We almost had someone without internet tonight, so we leaned on our subs a little bit, and they were ready to take it if they needed to. We all made it though. Also, shout out to ReGen Rebel. They're good guys. They're our buddies, so they're fun to play with, and they play Deep Rock Galactic with us too, so that's good. Rock and Stone. Also, my last shout out I want to give to Ouija. He's our neighborhood Discord streamer, and if you ever check out his Twitch, all of his proceeds go to Extra Life, so helping kids. So thanks, Ouija, for putting in the real work and making the world a better place.
Amazing. All right. Well, thanks again for coming in. Congrats on the win one more time. And we'll let you get back to your team to celebrate.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, and have a good day.
You too.
You too.
Alrighty. Well, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to hit that follow button and come back for some more NGS action. Definitely want to give a big shout out to you as well, Rabbit. Thanks for joining me. Always fun to have you around. And we are going to go ahead and send you all over to Gimme More Cosplay, who is casting a B-West match here. Looks like we've got Spooky Ghosts and Clouded Minds about to go in to game number 1 of their series. So
Nice.
enjoy that match. I know I'm going to be taking a look at it as well. Got my old team over there, Rabbit, Clouded Minds, ready to do their thing.
That's exciting.
But until next time, for the Nexus Gaming Series, I am Jay Zahn. I hope you all have a good night.